Hi, everyone, and thanks for joining me today. So it's interesting though, the bottom of the deck, this card doesn't really fit, so I'll have to figure out how it fits. This is the card about defending yourself without being defensive. So having the higher ground, sort of knowing that what you're doing is right for you. It's something you're passionate about, you care about. Um, just sort of the lesson behind this is to, just the facts, ma'am. State your case and not get defensive, not bring emotions into the situation because they're not warranted, they're not needed. You you just need to state your case. You don't have to be on the defensive. There's nothing to defend. You're not you're not wrong. You're not. It's not like you're if you haven't done anything wrong. You have a strong position. Just clearly state the facts and where you're coming from more than defending yourself or being defensive. So that's a card that's either like in our subconscious or um, somehow underlying this situation, which is kind of interesting because uh, the cards that are out again are some sort of milestone, getting news and messages. Oh my God, I just realized we have the Knight of Cups, the Knight of Swords, and the Knight of Pentacles. So this is change in almost every area of your life. So some of you are just going to have huge milestones, either you or someone close to you. And for whatever reason, if it's not you, maybe it's your child getting married, your child having a baby, your sister, your brother, maybe you're graduating from high school, graduating from college, getting married, getting engaged, getting a promotion at work even. Your parents are retiring, someone's renewing their vows, any of those sorts of things. If it's happening to you, obviously it's a huge deal, but even if it happens to someone else, it can really make you introspective and really sort of examine your life and where you're going and what you want. And we have the happily, this is often called the happy family card, but I call it the happily ever after card. Because not everyone has a family in what their ideal happily ever after is. So this card really asks you to examine what your happily ever after is. Because it look very different than what society tells you should be your happily ever after or what anyone else's happily ever after is. So maybe for some of you, you feel like everyone else is getting married, having babies, doing all these traditional things that you're supposed to do in life, and you don't want any of it. And so it's really causing you to go within and think, well, geez, should I be doing that? Do I want that? But I think the light that's in the hermit's lamp is your enlightenment, what your guiding light is. What makes sense out of all the things you've heard and learned and the wisdom you've gained? What feels right for you regardless of what religion, spirituality, society, your parents, yourself even tells you should be, and having the courage to let that go and and lead with what feels right to you. What is your happily ever after? So all these things going on make you really introspective, make you think about if people are, having all these things happen and you do want those things, you realize, how can you bring more balance into your life? Maybe you've been focusing too much on career, or maybe you've just been afraid to make the decision for whatever reason. Making sure you have enough that your relationships, because we have a lot of cups cards on the table, are a priority as much as you think they are, and just balancing the different aspects of your life. Maybe for some of you, these milestones have been a long time coming, but it is coming. The change is coming, and the change is coming in almost every area. For whatever reason, this is going to affect every area. Sorry, it's hard to get these. Every area of your life. We have the Knight of Pentacles. So some things you've been planning for a very long time are going to start to come to fruition. The Knight of Cups, changes in emotions, changing in, again, this could be taking relationships to another level, new relationships for some of you, solidifying relationships, hearing news of others, or getting offers, and completely changing how you look at things, how you think about things, which again may come back to this what is your happily ever after card. So this is going to be a pretty interesting big month for you guys. Lots of change, which is wonderful, but I know not everyone embraces change because it can be really scary. So just try to, don't be afraid to do some soul searching and just try to be balanced. And for some of you, even though this is something you've always wanted, it's going to still feel very fast, like that these are just, things are happening really fast, even though they're what you wanted. So just give yourself a little bit of time before you, to panic, to process it, and everything will be okay, because it probably is definitely what you were hoping for. It just, sometimes there are certain things you can't prepare for. Sometimes there isn't a good time, for me, it never really felt like a good time to have a baby. I kind of was just like, it's sort of, I just got to do it, because sort of taking that leap of faith, and, it was wonderful. So sometimes there isn't perfect timing, and you just sort of have to jump in, because you may never feel 100% like the timing is exactly right. But this is a really interesting reading for you guys. So let me know how this plays out. Lots of changes, lots of news, lots of new beginnings, and but it's a really beautiful, positive spread. So thank you so much for stopping by, and take care.